Flight MH370 is one of the most mysterious and heart-wrenching incidents in the world. An incident in which a plane full of passengers suddenly disappears. No one knows whether this plane was swallowed by the ground or the sky. March 2014 37-370 ST by Malaysian Airlines Flight MH370 takes off from Kuala Lumpur at 12:42 in the night, and this flight has to reach Beijing in the next 53 hours. This flight usually used to run on this route. A total of 239 people were on this plane. There were 227 passengers and 12 crew members on board. The captain of this flight is Zahari Ahmed Shahu. There is an experienced pilot who has 33 years of flying experience, and the co-pilot of this flight is Farik Hamid, who has 7 years of flying experience. At 1:08 in the night, this flight crossed the Malaysian coastline and flew over the South China Sea. This flight reaches a height of 35,000 feet from the ground. This flight is still in contact with the ATC of Kuala Lumpur. Everything is going normal, and at 1:01 in the night this flight enters the airspace of Vietnam, and the flight comes into contact with Ho Chi Minh ATC of Vietnam, and the flight captain communicates with Colombo ATC. Let's say good night and move ahead, and these were the last words coming from this flight. About 2 minutes after reaching Vietnam airspace, this flight disappears from the radar of Kuala Lumpur ATC. Now this was a normal thing for Kuala Lumpur ATC because this flight had reached Vietnam airspace far away from them, but mysteriously this flight also disappears from the radar of Vietnam's Ho Chi Minh ATC. Ho Chi Minh ATC repeatedly tries to contact this flight, but they get no response. Ho Minh ATC not found, immediately informs Kuala Lumpur ATC about this missing plane. No one was able to understand why, how, and where this flight disappeared, and after this incident, Flight MH370 becomes the biggest aviation mystery in history. It seemed that due to some technical glitch the flight was not being contacted. Soon it became morning, and this flight should have landed in Beijing at 6:30 in the morning, but this flight did not reach there immediately. A search operation is launched to locate the aircraft and the location where contact with the flight was last lost. The sea is searched within a radius of 100 kilometers of the place. This search operation was so big that 7 countries included their ships and aircraft in this search operation to find this flight. It took about 3 days to find this plane. More than a month passes, but the search team does not find any clue about this flight. About 4 days after this incident, on March 12, 2014, another mystery related to this flight comes to light, which shocked everyone. Actually, this flight had disappeared from civilian radar but still a military radar. The flight was being tracked. The data received from the military radar about this flight shocked everyone. Actually, according to the data of the military radar, when this flight reached Vietnam airspace and disappeared from the civilian radar, after that this flight made a right turn. Took off and then took a U-turn and started flying back towards Malaysia, and after 31 minutes, the plane crossed Penang City and took a turn towards Malacca Strait, and the flight started flying towards Andaman and Nicobar Islands. By 2:02 in the night, the military radar tracked this ship, after which the ship went beyond the reach of military radar. Till now, there was no plane at the place where the plane was being searched. This incident had now taken a new turn. After all, where did this plane go? This plane was supposed to go straight, but why did it take a U-turn and it ended up in the Indian Ocean? Why did it reach, and where did the plane turn after disappearing from the military radar? There were many questions but no answers. Now the searchers had another big challenge to conduct a search operation in a large part of the Indian Ocean, which the rescue team has not been able to find till now. It was searching for the plane in the Gulf of Thailand and South China Sea. Now it has started searching for the plane in this part of the Indian Ocean. Even after searching for several days, no sign of the plane was found in this area. Till now no one was able to understand the mystery of this plane. After a few days, this story took another new turn and everyone was surprised. After the next few days, it is revealed that this plane was repeatedly trying to contact a satellite during its journey. Actually, it was a Boeing 77 ship which had the technology to automatically communicate with the satellite. This plane tried to contact the satellite again and again every hour. After decoding this satellite data, it was found that when this ship tried to contact Inmarsat, after it disappeared from the military radar, it took another turn and continued flying over the Indian Ocean in the same direction for the next 5 hours. And this plane tried to make contact with the satellite for the last time at 8:1 in the morning. When the ship's mathematical calculations were done based on the speed of the complex and the fuel present in it, they feared that the ship would be in this curved area of the Indian Ocean, about 2,000 kilometers west of Australia, and after this, the world's largest search operation begins and an investigation of this part of the sea begins on a large scale, but no trace of this ship is found. Then after April 2014, the search operation over the sea was stopped and deep ocean search was started, in which mapping under the sea was done with modern technology and the ship continued to be searched for years. This search operation was the most expensive search operation in the world, and the search for this ship continued for 3 consecutive years, which cost $160 million, but no sign of this ship was found, and after 3 years the search operation had to be stopped, although no trace of the plane was found but 1 year after its disappearance. A piece of this ship was found on an island in Madagascar which reached this island with the waves of the sea. This was the flap ron of the ship. This is the part of the plane which is used during landing. When research was done on this flapron, a horrifying scene of this ship is revealed. Experts believed that when this ship crashed in the sea, it hit the water with its nose, due to which it was believed that Flight 370 was deliberately crashed. Why this flight? When the Malaysian police conducted an investigation to find out who was responsible for the crash, during the investigation, many more secrets related to this flight came out which shocked everyone. Earlier it was believed that the fire in this flight might have occurred due to short circuit, due to which the communication system of the plane might have stopped working. The captain of the ship might have thought of taking the plane U-turn and making an emergency landing back in Malaysia, but here the question arises that why the plane did not land in Malaysia. Then in answer to this it was believed that maybe there was some technical fault. Due to this, there might have been a change in the pressure in the pilot's cabin, due to which there was pressure inside the cabin. There might have been a shortage of oxygen and both the pilots might have become unconscious, after which the flight might have gone on autopilot mode, due to which it could not land in Malaysia, but on the contrary, experts believe that after the plane crossed Penang, the flight took a sharp turn. According to experts, no plane can take such a sharp turn on autopilot, so it means that the pilot deliberately turned the flight and there was no technical fault in the flight. Probably yes, it is believed that it seemed that perhaps someone might have hijacked Flight MH370 and the hijackers wanted to keep the flight under their control. For this, when the background of the passengers was checked, it was found that there were 2 people in the flight who were traveling with fake passports, due to which it was believed that they might have hijacked the flight. But when the background of these 2 passengers was checked, it was found that they had no connection with any terrorist organization. In fact, both of them were trying to go to Europe with stolen passports and settle there, and anyway this flight was hijacked. If the objective was to spread terror, then the terrorists used this flight. Instead of crashing in the sea, they could have crashed in any city, and they had not made any demand from the government. Due to this the hijacking theory was also rejected. Then what was the conspiracy behind Flight MH370? When Malaysian police investigated about both the pilots, they found a flight simulator at the house of flight captain Zahari Ahmed Shah. Actually, flight simulator is a machine with the help of which pilots experience flying a real plane at a pilot's house. Getting a flight simulator is not a big deal, but the big thing was that the path drawn in the flight simulator and the coordinates entered coincidentally almost matched the route of Flight MH370. It seemed as if the practice of flying the flight was on the route through which Flight MH370 had passed. Captain Zahari Ahmed Shah was doing this in his flight simulator. This incident put the captain of the ship directly in the dock. Now the question comes whether the captain of the ship was actually the person who had conspired to make Flight MH370 disappear. So for this we will have to look carefully at this entire incident once again. How could this flight have gone missing? Actually, something must have happened that when the plane entered Vietnam airspace 42 minutes after takeoff, Malaysian ATC handed over the plane to Vietnam ATC, but Vietnam ATC again, even after trying several times, it is not able to establish contact with the plane. This can happen only when the transponder of the plane has either got damaged or it has been switched off deliberately. Actually, transponder is a device through which the plane communicates with the ATC present on the ground. Is able to maintain contact and inform ATC of its actual location. Keeps telling me the transponder is turned off. This was a different thing, but MH370 was a modern aircraft which had more than 4 ways to make contact with ATC, and all the communication devices failed simultaneously. This had never happened in the history of aviation, which meant that it was clear that all the communication devices were deliberately switched off. If there was a technical fault in the plane, then why did the plane not land after taking a U-turn? The pilot made the plane pass through the border of Thailand and Malaysia, which was not a coincidence, due to which the Thai ATC felt that the plane had contacted Malaysian ATC. Malaysian ATC felt that the plane was in contact with Thailand ATC. The meaning of going through this route was that the pilot did not want anyone to track the location of the plane. The plane secretly reaches Malacca Strait and takes another turn, which shows that only an experienced pilot can fly the plane with such accuracy, and that too without the help of ATC. Now a question may come in your mind that if there were 2 pilots in the plane, then did the second pilot advise the captain of the ship to do so? If it is not stopped, then the answer is that when the plane takes off, both the pilots are busy in reaching the high altitude of the plane, after which the plane reaches cruise mode, after which the pilot gets some free time. In this free time, the co-pilot must have gone outside the cockpit to drink tea or coffee. Meanwhile, the captain must have closed the cockpit door, and the cockpit door is so secure that it can be opened only from the inside. There is an option in the cockpit to increase or decrease the oxygen inside the plane if the captain has increased or decreased the oxygen inside the plane. Had the flow of water been reduced, it would have suffocated the passengers, causing them to. The pilot must have started losing his conscience. He secretly took the plane to a deserted part of the sea where he could crash the plane. However, the plane can be landed in water, and this has been done many times in history, but for this the plane would have to land horizontally, but the MH370 was crashed vertically into the water with its nose down, which puts the pilot under suspicion in this incident, although it is just a theory that the plane might have been crashed by the captain of the ship. Because the incidents happening with this plane are towards Captain Zahari Ahmed Shah only. But what is the truth is still a mystery, although some people believe that Zahari Ahmed Shah was going in depression for some days due to his domestic differences, due to which he crashed the entire plane to commit suicide. Although no one knows how much truth is there in these things, but the truth is that 239 people had gone missing along with MA370, whose whereabouts are unknown till date.